Hello, this is Rick again, your bike fitness coach. Another video. Today we want to discuss, maybe a little bit longer video, but we're going to be discussing some of the questions, the most common issues I see when bike fitting. So the main common issues I see are the cranks are too long, the stems are too long, and the saddles are too narrow. So those are normally the three issues that most clients need equipment changes on those three items. A lot of people ask me about our bike fit philosophy. Our bike fit philosophy is that basically get the client in a safe ranges so they're not destroying their joints, so they're able to ride comfortably, and basically we are fitting the bicycle to that individual. As an example, I can get 10 people that are 5'10" tall, and every one of them is going to have a different bike fit. In fact, on the extremes, you're going to have maybe one size frame smaller and one size frame bigger on the two extreme people. The others are going to be different torso to leg length ratios, and that's going to really affect the reach to the handlebars and or the reach to the pedals, i.e. saddle height. So those are the common things we normally see. And again, it's all about getting the bicycle fit to the person, not the person fit to the bicycle. We can always change components, we always change stems, which we normally do. We normally change saddles, and most clients need cranks. So the bike fit process. Essentially, when somebody comes in for a bike fit, I have a questionnaire online that they will fill out, very simple, 2 or 3 questions. What type of bike you're bringing in, what are your main concerns, what do you want to cover. So I have a good indication of what they want to accomplish in here for a bike fit. We'll do the interview and do an eval. We need to determine where that person is going to fit and sit on the bicycle when they're riding it. So we do a number of workups. We do not too many things because things are different here than they are in Europe. I'm also associated with the International Bike Fitting Institute, and things are set up differently. Over here in America, if you don't have a medical degree and a medical license to practice, you really don't need to, and you really shouldn't. In fact, it's illegal to diagnose or treat an individual. Leave that up to the physical therapist, leave it up to an orthopedic surgeon, or send them back to their doctor to get treated on something that you might want to think that you're going to be diagnosing and treating somebody. So after the eval, we got a good indication of where that person is going to be on the bicycle, where their feet are going to be, how to position their cleats, etc. We'll also can determine if they have short torso, long legs, or short legs and long torso, which impacts the size of the frame and or the components. In fact, if you see in the back, I do have a Calfee size machine that I can put the manufacturer's geometry of the bike into the fit cycle, and when the person comes in, that's usually pre-set up along with crank lengths we can modify. We can also modify the stem length and angle, and so when the person comes in, the bike is set up and it's going to be exactly how the bike is built right out of the shop, right out of the box from the mechanic. So they're going to sit on the bike, we're going to see if it fits them, etc. Normally recommend, and a lot of the shops do send me people that are looking at a $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 plus bike. You want to make sure it's the right size frame before they purchase it and spend that much money on something that's not going to fit them. Once we get to the bike fit itself, we'll get them warmed up. I will actually then take them back off the bike and start adjusting the cleats. I have a process where I can, and I do an eval on their cleats when they're cycling, warming up, I also will look at where their feet are with relationship to the cleats, how much float they have. They will do it. So basically there is a 4 to 5 double check, triple check, quadruple check process we do to make sure and ensure that the cleats are in the exact correct position so they're not fighting the bike with their knees. That's the last thing you want to do is damage your knees. So the saddle position is next. Unlike other fitters I have seen on YouTube, most of my clients are sitting too low in the saddle, and we usually have to raise them. I think other fitters see the fact that the individual is sitting too high because they're starting to point their toes when they're cycling. Well, what happens if you think about the lifestyle and work style of most Americans? You get up in the morning, you sit at the breakfast table, you get in your car, you sit in a seat, hour and a half drive to work, get to work, you sit in a chair all day long, you sit in your car another hour and a half coming home, you sit at the dinner table, and then you go to bed. Well, what happens when you do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday when you get on a bicycle? How much mobility is your lower posterior chain going to have, i.e. really the hamstrings? Sitting in this type of position, the hamstrings aren't being stretched, and the body is going to accommodate or acclimate to the stresses it's put on, and there's no stresses, so people don't have the flexibility or mobility in their hamstrings or the lower posterior chain, and hence they'll start pointing their toes to reach the pedals. Well, that's where you got to start working with the customer. Send them to a PT to give them some exercises. Send them to a personal trainer. I have a story that a guy came in one time, 265 pounds. We got him on the bike. He was happy. He called me about a year later and said, you know, this bike fit just is not working for me. Something's wrong. I can't ride the bike anymore. It's uncomfortable. So I said, well, what happened? What lifestyle changed? What changed from last time you came in? He goes, well, I lost 100 pounds. I've been doing yoga every day. And I said, okay, hold it right there. You're not the same person as you came in from the bike fit. It's an adaptive fit. We adapted the bike to you at a year ago, and now that you're not even the same person anymore physically, you need to come back and we need to change things. Came back, we made some changes, and again, very happy, again, out riding on the bicycle. So the body will adapt, and it's now up to the fitter to determine how much mobility that person has in their lower posterior chain, if they're able to have a higher saddle height. Normally a higher saddle height will help in impingements of the hip and or knee joint. So the lower the saddle, the more knee flexion people have, the more pressure that's getting into the knee on the patellofemoral head, and the more they're destroying their knees, and then it's time to go see the orthopedic surgeon for a new knee, etc., and or a new hip. I get a lot of clients, maybe almost 50% of my clients coming in have had knee surgery, a knee replacement, and or hip replacement. So it's critical to get them into the right position. How do you get them into the right position? Well, we deal with this. Here are some crank links. Over here would be the center of the bottom bracket, and this would be the center of the pedal spindle. So you can see what a 175 crank looks like, 172, 170, all the way to 145 in relation to each other. And what we fit and find is that most cyclists are really in the 160, 155 crank length, where they should be. They are fighting the bike literally when they're riding. They don't have the power to push the pedals because they don't have the leverage. They're sitting too low. I explain to the clients this way. You remember from gym class where you used to do squats. where can you push more weight? If you do a quarter squat, or you do a squat all the way so your butt hits the ground and then stand up, where can you push the most weight? Well, of course, a quarter squat. That's why you see all these high school kids do quarter squats with a lot of weight, showing off to the girls, a lot of weight, look at me. But it's called leverage. With the right size, right length crank arms, you are in a better leverage position to attack the pedals, and you will get more power out. Again, the power formula is power equals force times velocity. So it's true you're going to lose a little bit of force, but you're going to gain velocity. So the overall power is going to be the same, but you're just going to be more comfortable on the bike. You're going to be able to spin the cranks a little bit easier. You're not going to be fighting the bike. It's just going to be more comfortable all the way around. So again, we've put a lot of people on these cranks up in this area, and it's solved a lot of the issues and problems. And we especially do that with clients that have had knee surgery, knee replacement, hip replacement. Take as much stress off of the knee, have as little force as possible that the knee is pushing through, and it's more comfortable, and they're not going to have to go back to see the orthopedic surgeon for a second time. So, crank length, the lower rear posterior chain we talked about. Then we come to the cockpit. So basically how I explain to clients is that from the belly button down, from here down is all about power management, power production, and being able to maximize power into the pedals and be comfortable and in safe ranges in doing so. From the belly button up is all about comfort. Where can you set the client the most comfortable on the bicycle so they can hold on to the bars, they got the handling of the bike, they can stay in that position, they don't have to stand up, rest their back, they're in a comfortable position, they can ride for hours in that position. Triathletes are always coming in saying, hey, make me lower, make me longer, I want to get on the bike, I want to be faster. And I said, well, fast is a relative word, because if I set you up like this for an Ironman, number one, your shoulders are going to collapse well before the 50-mile mark. And number two, I'm going to put you in such an aggressive position that you're going to ride for 2 minutes, and then you're going to sit up and rest your back for another minute. So how aero are you when you're sitting up and barely pedaling the bicycle, resting your back? So it's all about putting you into a comfortable position where you can hold onto the bars and you can stay in that position for an extended period of time to do what you need to do on the bike. As an example, here's a little quiz. Why do you see, and this is for the US group, and I think probably more or less for Europe too, why do you see the crit racers holding on to the top of the bars, holding on to the hoods? Because that's where they've been fit to. If you were to fit a crit racer to hold the bars, and again, I'm a USA Cycling coach, and I've done and I teach BRP, Beginner Racer Program for USA Cycling, and we teach the people to hold the drops, hold onto the drops of the bars. Why? Because it's safer. If you're holding here and somebody bumps you, your elbow's hitting your side. If you're up here, you have you're gonna lose the front end. Also, if you're holding the bars, nobody can hook bars with you. Guaranteed, if you hook bars, you're gonna go down. 2 people are gonna go down. More than 2 people are gonna go down, depending on how far you are from the front. So with that, that's a general guideline of bike fitting and what we do and how we help clients. And we hope to see you if you are in interest for a bike fit and or bike fitting class. We do a lot of Zoom-based bike fitting. In fact, our course is accredited by the APTA/CPTA, which is the American Physical Therapy Association, and the California chapter of the American Physical Therapy Association. So we can actually give PTs, CEUs. In fact, we can award them 2.4 CEUs for the year, which almost makes up their whole year worth of CEUs. So we hope to see you in the future, and or let us know if you have any questions, and be more than happy to discuss bike related fitting and or coaching and or racing with you. All right, if you liked the video, please hit like, subscribe, and share, and see you in the next video.